everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Glen Sportcat Jackson here with another episode of Sports Insider with Sportcat. So we've got a special treat tonight. First off, let me bring my co-host in, Miss Cheyenne. We've got a special treat tonight. We have a professional wrestler from Miami, and she's going to tell us all about the business. When we're going to bring her in. Emma Diaz is her name. Hello, Emma. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. We are so glad to have you. I've followed up, read a lot about you, and you come from an athletic family and you have a strong work ethic. So I think you're probably going to be going places in the near future.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
I was going to ask you, I read you played flag football in high school, which is great. And then you got a rugby scholarship to Life University. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's
so, great. What was that?
I was like, no, that's great. That's great. So tell us a little bit. You went to, or are you still at Life? I'm not clear if you graduated from there.
So I started playing flag football in high school. And I knew that there weren't any opportunities to go to college for flag football at the time like there are now. So I wanted to get into a sport that I can potentially go to college for. So a rugby coach in the area approached me, while I was training at a park. And he asked me if I would want to play for his rugby team. So I tried out, and this was my senior year of high school. And I played about 3 or 4 games, and I started sending my film to a lot of different coaches at different colleges. And Life University was one of the colleges that reached back out to me and invited me to an official visit. And I ended up committing there and pursuing my rugby career at Life University. Around my senior year of college, I transferred as an online student and began my journey as a WWE superstar.
That's what I was going to ask. You also wrestled too in college, didn't you?
I did amateur wrestling. My senior year, I was a dual sport athlete with rugby as well as amateur wrestling.
That's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, why wrestling? What is your attraction to it?
Well, my father did judo in Cuba, so he's always been fascinated by MMA and wrestling, judo, mixed martial arts. So I wanted to do wrestling as well. It started with amateur wrestling, of course, which I started in college. And then, there was an opportunity to start professional wrestling with WWE. And, I thought it'd be the best thing to take. So, I didn't let that opportunity up. And I was excited to start my career, in the WWE, learning all about pro wrestling.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a head start on others because you'd already been wrestling, and sounds like your dad probably coached you a lot, I know, growing up.
For sure, yes. It definitely, I didn't have the skills of performing as much, but I definitely had the athleticism skills.
Well, coming off that top rope, jumping down in the ring, that's something that I don't know that that's necessarily performing as more it is an athletic event.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So I assume they call it the company. Why do they call it that? Is it?
No, I mean, every wrestling company is, a company. AEW is a company, TNA is a company, WWE is a company. There's no specific reason. It's just, it's a business, it's a company, so that's what it goes by.
Gotcha. It's not like the CIA.
That makes sense.
You're a plant for the CIA going in, right? Is that what it is? That's good. Well,
they've started their own company, so
yeah. So you went in and you spent about a year in. Is that correct? And then you were just recently released?
Yes, I was with WWE NXT for 1 year before I was released.
How is that experience going in front of that many people and performing?
It is definitely breathtaking, and it's definitely something that you probably would never be ready for, especially, if you haven't had the reps before actually joining WWE. Most people wrestle in the indies for years, and their biggest dream is to be in the WWE, whereas I was, recruited as a college athlete, and I never knew what pro wrestling was and what it took to, be a performer and be a pro wrestler. So it was definitely something different, and I didn't have the time or the exposure to prepare for what I was actually going into.
Okay.
And it took you 3 days, and they were like, "All right, let's go."
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought we were talking about my rugby career for a second.
Oh no. Well, rugby, I don't, goodness gracious, that's a very tough sport too. So you picked some full contact ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great that WWE does scout college athletes, because all I know is whatever the best company in the world has ever taught me. So my fundamentals are really good, and they are done completely right because I've been coached by the best people to ever do pro wrestling. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity, and now I can take my skills and my fundamentals and continue my wrestling career everywhere else, knowing that the best wrestlers in the world coached me when I first started and taught me everything that I know from my baby steps to where I am now.
You'll have a leg up on the competition. So you're going to be doing is it semi-pro, or have you already signed up with someone else?
No, I mean, now I'm just an independent, wrestler. So I just wrestle for different promotions and,
Okay.
for myself pretty much.
That makes
I'm
sense.
a free agent.
Like the NFL, you're a free agent. So
Right.
when the WWE could call you back up at any moment, you'd be like gone, ready to go.
Yes, of course.
That's good. Yeah, and I'm sure you have to stay. You have a daily routine that keeps you in top shape and all that stuff. And
Yes, I started training at Flatbacks Wrestling Academy with Sean Spears and Tyler Breeze on Monday, May 27th. So I'm excited to be back in a routine and continue my training with, former WWE superstars and current WWE superstars, because Sean Spears is currently a coach and a superstar in NXT. So I definitely will keep around the WWE style and keep training with that environment.
well, I know with it being, we'll just say choreographed, a lot of it, there's still a high potential for injury. What do you think about that? I mean, how does that play into your factor of your career? Have you got something else in mind later down the road, like to be a doctor or something? I know that we interviewed Miranda Maverick, and she's a psychiatrist as her backup.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I actually studied exercise science in college. So I will be graduating with my degree in either kinesiology or exercise science. So I definitely am very interested in like the fitness industry. I also have my NASM, CPT in case I wanted to do personal training. Or I can probably get into nursing. I definitely want to do something that involves like physical therapy, like sports medicine for sure.
That's great. Don't be a paramedic. I was a paramedic. Don't be a paramedic. They don't make any money.
But I also know I can make a great living, pro wrestling and gain experiences that are uncomparable. So
Yeah, and that was one thing. When I interviewed Miranda, I asked her. I said, "Of course, MMA they punch you in the face." I was like, oh, "Why would you want to do that?" And her reply was, "I think everybody should be punched in the face once, so they know what it's like."
Yeah,
I was like,
well, I've certainly been punched in the face wrestling, so if anyone has ever told you otherwise, it's definitely not true. So we get punched in the face, just as hard.
"Oh, I'm sure, yeah."
Yeah,
And when you're, well, like I said, you're coming off the ropes, and there's so much potential there.
right.
That's what I see as a paramedic. I'm sure with the
Yeah,
kinesiology, you can see the actual physics of each movement. So that's a
right.
great
So
angle, actually.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a great angle. Um, well, so when you were in the WWE, how many times were you in the ring? You had one big one. Was that correct? That I read.
I had about 14 match reps at the PC, and I had 2 house shows in front of fans.
Okay. Um, well, for an outsider looking in, I know that everybody's goal is to be one up. You want to beat the next person up. You want to go one up.
Mhm.
Like you a ranking. How will you go about getting higher up in the ranking? Is it just your skill set? Is it with the WWE? Is it more of the entertainment industry portion? If the fans, how does that work?
Um, I'm just gonna make sure that I keep my everything that I can control, my promos, my talking ability, my ability to, connect with fans and be a huge star and a big entertainer. My look, of course, and my wrestling, keeping all those 3 things, in check and in line. Those are, the top 3 things in wrestling that matter.
Well, I mean, basically, you're selling yourself, so to speak, and
Right. Not just as an athlete, but also as a performer.
Mhm.
So it's more than just athletics.
Oh, absolutely. Well, hey, if you finally do it, you can end up like was it Ronda Rousey, and you can be in the Avengers. So
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
yeah, she is one person I wouldn't want me to punch me in the face. So
Yeah.
uh, well, also I know that you had been in, well, let me rephrase that. You were in a relationship that was with a wrestler, and now that he's performing, I guess he goes to different places and you're kind of at home base. How's that affecting you?
It hasn't really affected anything. Everything is good, everything's wonderful.
Good. Okay. Well, I know somebody asked me to ask that, and I researched why, and I was like, okay, I'm not touchy feely on that stuff. The
Yeah,
paramedic
no.
I may be, but
Yeah,
not like that.
yeah, everything's great. I don't really. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. Well, when you're out there performing, I assume that it's probably like there's pre-show things that you do, and then there's probably pre-show things that you go through choreographed together. How far in advance does, let's say you have a show coming up next week, do you have to start planning a week before for that, or how does that work?
No, I mean, just like every other, um, pretty much, how do I explain this? Um, like every matchup, you get there and you find out who your opponent is, and then, you go out there and you put out a fight with your opponent.
Okay.
That's pretty much how it works.
Okay, so it's not like a rock band where you go out an hour before and test all your equipment and lights and stuff. And
Mm. Yeah, I'm sure like, people that deal with media have to do all that, but you get to the venue, you find out who you're wrestling, and you put out a fight.
so you may not know until the night of. Is that correct?
Hmm. For sure.
Wow. Wow, that would be intimidating, I would think. So,
Right.
well, but as
Sometimes,
part of your,
like companies like WWE, they'll, announce matchups on TV, like NXT. We know this Tuesday that next week Kalani Jordan and Ren Sinclair are having a match, but it just depends. But sometimes you do find out the night of who you're wrestling, and then you just go out there. It's like the UFC, you find out who you're going to have a title weight match with, fight with, and you just go out there and fight.
Just go out there and kick some butt.
Yeah.
Well, or I know some people play good people, some people play bad people. What's your persona? Are you a good person or a bad person? I sense you're a good person, but what's your entertaining persona?
Right now I'm just like being myself, on the indies, and kind of just however the fans perceive me, that's, what I end up being pretty much.
Okay. Well, I read Crazy is My Superpower from, and the name escapes me. She was the world champion for ladies for many years. And I enjoyed watching her because of her act. She was a huge comic book fan too. I'm a comic book nerd. And she would come out and just act totally crazy. And the fans loved it.
Yeah.
When you get your next match, are you thinking about a little bit of pre-wrestling nerves?
Oh, I get nervous before every match for sure. Definitely, just like if I'm going to have a rugby game, it's the same pre-match, pre-fight. In rugby we call games matches too, so it's not any different. So pre-match nerves are completely normal. Yes.
Even the big stars get that. That's good to know. Do you have a routine that calms you down, or?
I just try to, be confident and trust that all my training will, pay off.
Because once those lights go off, or the fireworks go off, the lights go on, you have to turn on. And I just do a small little podcast, and talking to people such as yourself, sometimes I get nervous and tongue-tied. I cannot imagine in front of an arena full of people.
For sure.
Shay, did you have a question? Or I cut you off a second ago. I'm sorry.
No, I was just agreeing.
Okay. Well, we watch a lot of the different stars come up in different sports, and we're always amazed at how some of them shine through more than others. And I sense that with you. What do you think advice you would give somebody else coming up behind you, besides for obviously don't be better than me?
I definitely, tell anybody that's an upcoming star to, not give up on their dreams. And there's definitely always going to be bumps in the road. I think the adversity and the bumps in the road is what, mold you into the huge star that you end up becoming. All your experiences are super important, and they make you stronger and better in the end. So, you ultimately become, this huge star that's like has been through everything. So, nothing can really phase you or bring you down by the time you're at the top.
I like it. And you keep saying at the top. So your intention is at the top.
For sure.
I'm a big believer in intent. So I see that you've already got your sight set on that. That's cool.
Yes.
Do you do anything like that to basically calm yourself, relax, and say my intent is I'm going to go out here, I'm going to be number one in the world, and just keep practicing and practicing? Is that kind of your routine? Or?
Yeah, I just trust, my hard work. I like to work very hard. So, if things don't go however I planned, I know that I did everything that I could, and it doesn't affect me as much as it would, mentally.
That's right. Well, you learned from it. So that's
right.
That's to take something away from I've made plenty of mistakes, so learn from everyone. I'm an old man now. I've forgotten more than I've learned, I think. If let's say a fan comes to the ring and wants to, I don't know, participate or watch or get close to you, how do they keep I'm going to ask from the paramedic side and the security side. I'm going to switch seats for a second here. How do they keep all that back away from you? Because it seems like they are just right there. I mean, like, can reach out and touch you. Right?
Well, we have, every show has security, and we have the barricades that the fans are not allowed to cross. So, basic rules, just like if you go to a concert, you can't just hop on stage and, grab Drake or Miley Cyrus or whoever's up on that stage. So it's same rules apply.
Okay. I guess maybe it just makes it look so much closer on TV because it looks like you were like,
Yeah,
that
for
far
sure.
apart.
Well, TV makes everything look bigger and more intense.
Yeah. Well, TV and movies are ruined for me after having worked as a set paramedic and seeing that they just take one room and build it and tear it apart and build it and tear it apart. So it ruined all of that for me. Well, when are you planning on staying in the Miami area? Because I want to be honest, I'm jealous.
Well, I actually live in Orlando, so yes, I plan on staying in Orlando and hopefully in the future move, to Cincinnati.
It's cold there.
Yeah. And that's where my partner's from, so that's where
Uh-huh.
we'd move in the future.
Okay. Well, it snows there, so be forewarned.
Just some tough winters.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I want to go the other way. I'm trying to talk the wife into going to Florida, so we'll try.
I definitely do love Florida. But I love Cincinnati as well.
It's actually a beautiful town.
It is. Very good place to raise a family.
Yeah. And that was going to be one of the other questions I was kind of hoping Shay would ask, but I was going to ask as a female, I know at some point in time you want to start thinking about those things.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think you can do that with a career in wrestling? Or would that be the time to be like, I've reached the top and now I'm going to be a top at something else?
Well, right now I'm not really I'm not really thinking of that. I'm very young, so
yes, you are.
Whenever my career is done, then I will get married and have children.
That's cool. And you'll be the champ and you would do that. I can
Yes.
sense this. So and then you can go to nursing. So
yes.
With all the talk in all the sports right now, some of the big things that people are concerned about is, and I don't know that it's so much an issue in contact sports. I talked to Miranda about this, but sometimes there's a crossover between men and women into each other's sports. How do you feel about that?
What exactly do you mean?
Well, I mean, would you want to go up against a biological male?
Probably no, I wouldn't. I like, competing against women competing against women, and then the men can do their things. But I know other people have different opinions on that.
Well, sure. But like we were talking about being punched in the face, I would think it would be different from one versus the other.
Yeah, that's why I would not. Yeah, I would not step in the ring with a male. That's just my personal opinion.
No, and that's fine. It's fine. I respect that. Because Miranda said the same thing. She said someone with less training that was a male could come in and dominate her because it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You went to college for anatomy and physiology. You get all that. So
yes, some things are just inevitable. Men are just born with different genetics than women are. So
that's the truth. So, all right. Well, so when you first started, I know when I first started as a set paramedic and I was around some of the stars and stuff, I got a little starstruck. Even with The Rock, he had a game show he did here in Atlanta. Did you get a little starstruck or a little fan? Who was the coolest one you met?
Definitely John Cena will have to be the coolest active superstar I met. But I will say it was pretty awesome to work, super close to Shawn Michaels every single day.
Yeah. Is John Cena, is he like he appears on he appears so laid back?
Yes. However he appears on TV is definitely how he appears, in his everyday life.
To me, he's like that guy sitting at the end of the bar that's talking sports you want to go have a beer with. That's the kind of guy he seems to me.
For sure.
That's a really big thing to me when it comes to, celebrities of all sorts, that they appear to be good people and they are legitimately good people.
Yeah.
Sometimes you meet someone that's not exactly what you expected. So luckily I haven't had that happen, and I hope I don't. But I had a question. I forgot it totally. I'm starstruck with you, Emma. So you said that you're going to go out and start training right away.
Yes.
And so is the WWE, if somebody went down or got sick or got injured, could they call you up like at a moment's notice, kind of like in baseball, they call up from the minor leagues? Is that how it works?
I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure how WWE makes their decisions.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, people do get sick and injured, obviously, so things happen. I'm sure it's a fluctuating schedule. So
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it sounds like you have got your intent set and you're going to go. When you graduate from college, is there going to be a big thing with that, or are you just going to keep right on trucking with professional wrestling?
Well, I'm sure my family will make it a big deal when I graduate from college, but I'm definitely going to keep on wrestling as long as I could and then see where it goes from there.
You should. It is a big deal to graduate from college, so you should be proud. And I'm sure your family is quite proud. I read somewhere that you said that your father was on a raft for 7 days, and then I think it was Guantanamo. He was there for a year.
Yes.
And that's what gives you a lot of your inner strength.
Yes, that definitely motivates me. You know, his ability to go through that and still be alive and still be, you know, perfectly healthy and around me, definitely motivates me to do a lot of things that people probably think are, you know, that you aren't capable of doing.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's intent. It sounds like
Yeah.
he trains
Your
you well
mind
with
is definitely stronger than your body.
Yes. Sometimes your body says no, get the heck out of here. Like when a firefighter, paramedic run into a burning building, you're like, no, this is cool. So you're kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
Yours is kind of like you want to go into the ring. That's cool. And I'd be like, no,
I actually wanted to be a firefighter before rugby came in the picture. So
really? Well, you know, I will warn you, after being spoiled by professional wrestling, the pay sucks. So, but it is the coolest job. Granted, I know being a professional wrestler is cool, but it's kind of the coolest job in the world to go kick in a door, splash a lot of water on some fire. So
yeah. Are you familiar with Life University, since I know you're based out of Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Yeah, that was one of the questions. I thought initially you might have been studying to be a doctor of chiropractic.
Oh no, I was just doing their undergrad.
Okay.
Maybe if wrestling didn't come into the picture, I'd probably stay and use up all my years to play rugby and probably get into a master's program or a grad school to be a chiropractor, but that didn't happen.
Things happen for a reason, you know?
Right.
You kind of roll with it and be happy. And you seem very happy. Yeah, I was wondering actually if that's what you're going to do, but I did want to kind of prod and ask you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you've only got 1 year, one year left or one course left, I'm sorry, I've forgotten already.
1 semester left, so about half a year.
Okay, that's nothing. That's no big deal. You can do that in a blink. So you've probably already done all the hard stuff behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask, firefight. Why did you think about firefighting?
I don't know, actually. I think that's just what I wanted to do when I was younger. There was a place called Wanadu City that was around in South Florida, and I always loved pretending to be a firefighter when I was a kid in the Wanadu City. So that's always been what I wanted to do outside of playing sports, because it's like it was a career that kind of kept you in shape and kept you like still kind of an athlete. So I would say that's probably one of the main reasons why I wanted to be a firefighter.
That is so cool. And you're right. I'm retired now, so I'm not in shape anymore, but it is almost like a sport.
A lot of athletes go into firefighting. So
yeah. And I've worked with quite a few, and we love it because, yeah, in a moment's notice that anaerobic, you got to hop up and go, you know, from dead asleep at 3 a.m. to you're climbing all these ladders and pulling ropes and stuff. So that's
Right.
it's kind of stressful. The reason I ask is most times somebody says they want to be a firefighter, they have a father, an uncle, a cousin, or something. It's a fireman. It's like a family tradition.
Oh, no, not here.
No, but it sounds like you've got the other part, the caring part too. So you would have been interested in probably like the paramedicine and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
don't do it. Pays no money.
I was gonna say, if wrestling didn't work out, she's definitely got the training for it.
Yeah, but I would never advise somebody not to do it. Seriously, I make a pun about it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really pay. But you don't get into it for the pay, so you get in it to help people, and it's kind of cool helping people. So,
Right.
That
and obviously that's what you want to do with everything else you're going to school for.
Yeah, well, even performing, you're giving a piece of yourself. I mean, even whether it's the sweat or you're out there letting the fans see and expose yourself to them. So
yeah, fans definitely come to the show to escape their real life. So it is nice.
Yeah. And it's well, I'll reference the comic book world. It's almost as if you're going into a fantasy land when you come to the arena and are a part of that. I mean, it's larger than life.
Right.
That's why I would be so intimidated. So. Have you given any thought about, I don't know, a timeline that you want to be back in the WWE, or is it just you're going to when it calls?
Yeah, I haven't really put much thought into it. I'm just right now focusing on continuing my wrestling career, not really trying to control anything else.
Well, keep your workout. So you have a daily workout routine, like where you go and do certain things, like?
Well, I definitely go to the gym like every day and keep myself in shape, and then now I'll be starting back my wrestling training with Flatbacks Academy. So
Okay. And is that every day that you'll be going to that?
It'll be about 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay. All right. And that's where you'll get some more training with in time of exposure, so you can get the wrestling.
Right.
As we're talking about independent, so you can get I don't want to call it a contract to join or go wrestle someone else.
For sure. And I'm currently going to wrestle on June 8th at Booker T's show for the second time. So that'll also get me some reps and some exposure. So.
Oh, big time. Booker T's pretty amazing. So yeah. So you're getting to meet all the people that I wanted to meet. So.
So with working independently how you are now, is that just kind of how it works, where you just get booked for different shows like that?
Yes.
Okay.
You kind of just work for yourself. You do signings, shows. You can sell merch. You pretty much own your own business.
You're your own free agent.
Right. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, you get to set your schedule so you can do what you want to do on your time. So what do you like to do in your off time, by the way? And don't say go to the gym.
I actually like to clean and organize.
Oh, well.
That's one of my hobbies.
You need to give me some tips on that.
You would love my house because I'm a chaotic mess.
That's what I was saying.
I'm trying not to I want to focus on the wrestling, obviously, but you're also a person. And I want people to get to know you as a person. And so I'm trying to focus and ask the questions that I know you've had probably 1,000 interviews that are like, tell us what this move is like and this and the arm bar and blah, blah, blah. That's great.
No, most
you're
of my
still
interviews
a person.
Are, about me, and they ask questions about me,
Yeah. Yeah. And now, will you have a specific move that you make? Because that's kind of part of the performing.
Right. I definitely like doing the missile drop kick, but I'm still working on a move set. So
That's off the top rope, isn't it?
I do mine probably, either running off the ropes or standing. I haven't really done it off the top rope just yet.
Yeah. No kidding. I couldn't do it. I assume there's like a lot of gymnastics involved with that too. So
Right.
yeah, that would be incredibly scary to me because the top rope
She's a go big or go home girl.
it's what, about 4.5 feet? I can't remember. No, it's taller than that, isn't it? The top rope. How tall is the top rope, Emma?
I'm not exactly sure. Probably around whatever you said.
Yeah, I was going to say 4.5 feet. So yeah, and coming off of that, and it's got a little get behind it, so it gives you some go.
My top shoulder, so yeah, probably about 5 feet because I'm 5'5". So,
have you came off the top rope yet and done a move?
With some training, but not anything crazy. No.
Well, training is crazy. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
prepare you for anything.
Yeah, well, some of those guys, they stack tables and chairs, and they get like super crazy high and dive down. And then they dive down into off the ring into tables and stuff like that.
For sure.
And
pretty cool.
Definitely cool. I will give you that, but I'm not so sure it would be something I'd ever want to attempt, especially coming from that height. So.
Well, and then you've got like Hell in the Cell and climbing all of that. So.
Yeah, those matches are cool.
Yeah, definitely, where they lock you in and there's only one way out. No, thank you. So, Emma, by any chance, are you a comic book or book nerd? Science fiction, anything?
No.
No? Okay. No, that's okay.
Not really, yeah. I've never really been into like gaming or comic books or anything like that.
Okay. That's where I was going to go. If you have done any gaming or anything in your downtime or read comic books, you sound like you stayed.
I'd like to. Yeah.
You more the girly girl.
Yeah, I will say.
All right. Well, one question. I also host a paranormal show. And one question that I never let any of my guests get out of is, have you ever seen a ghost or ran into a Bigfoot or anything scared you, went bump in the night? So that's one question I always ask.
No, I've never seen a ghost or seen Bigfoot before.
But down there, I think it's Skunk Ape. So
I do like scary movies, though. So,
what's your favorite scary movie?
Probably the original Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Have you thought about maybe down the road? This does lead to acting, because didn't Disney at one point in time own WWE? I think they did.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they did, because it seemed like a lot of them crossed over. Now, is that something you'd ever want to do? Cross over to like MMA, the full contact like that?
Not really, no.
I don't blame you. So I don't blame you at all.
Or get into acting.
Yeah, Hollywood would be cool.
Down in Orlando, there's a lot of opportunities too. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Are we? Sorry. What time are we on here till?
We're about 40 minutes in, so if you want to wrap up, I understand you're busy. You're taking time out of your schedule with us, and I'm not your normal interviewer, so you're probably like, this guy is crazy and asks stupid questions. So, where are you going to be next? Where can people find your merchandise? And if somebody wanted to reach out and get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Well, I will be at Reality of Wrestling on June 8th in Houston, Texas. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok at M6Era. And my merchandise is in my link tree. on all my social media platforms. And then, of course, at any wrestling shows that I'm at, I will be selling merchandise as well.
Okay, very good. Well, Emma, I look forward to talking to you again down the road.
Yes, for sure.
I want to make sure you go far, and I have the feeling you will. So, I will keep you my speed dial of questions to ask athletes. So,
Thank you. Well, it was
all right,
nice
Emma.
talking to you guys.
You too, Emma.
Thank
Thank you very
taking
much
the
for your
time.
time.
Thank
We
you.
will talk to you soon. Thanks. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was great.
Mhm.
You know, I enjoy these brief short shows like this where you get to, you know, have just a little one-on-one. And I can tell that she was a little bit like, okay, this isn't your typical sports interview. So
Well, you know, we just want to find out how people are as a person, not necessarily just an athlete. So
exactly. Yeah, I'm more interested in the person and their story than necessarily just because that's something everybody's going to ask. You know, oh, it's also they chase you around and want your autograph and stuff like that. So I'm not about that.
yeah, it's
All
just
right. Well,
what are your hobbies? What do you like to do in your downtime?
well, I like to think that um, everybody has a story, and I want to get their story. And it seemed like we got her story. She talked about,
Yep.
you know, how it was training all of her life to get there, and she's laser focused on it. So,
And I bet her dad is beyond proud of her.
oh God, I would be. I mean, it's amazing. So, all right, well, we're gonna wrap tonight's episode up. We are getting close to the 1 hour mark. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next Sportscat Insider.